Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Traitors or the Traitors USA Season 4, Episode 1 and 2. So this is my first time watching the show, and I low-key am only watching it because of Candace, because that's my girl. But I am really enjoying it, and because of that, I am going to go back and watch the other seasons once this one is done. But let's go ahead and get into it. So we have the cast, and I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of these people I do not know. So we're just gonna go through them. All right, so we have Dorinda, and she is of Real Housewives of New York, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's of Real Housewives of New York fame. Um, is it Real Housewives of New York? Yes. So she's Real Housewives of New York. Apparently she was here last season, but was sent home the first night. So then we have Natalie, and she's of Amazing Race and Survivor fame. Then we have Tiffany. I remember her. She's from Big Brother. She was part of the cookout. And then, of course, we have my girl Candace, and she's a Real Housewife. Then there's Lisa, which is Real Housewives of Beverly Hill, and then Portia, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Then Caroline, she's Real Housewives of Dubai, but then I think she's also Ladies of London. I think that was the show, but I can't remember. But then there's Mora. She's of Love Island. I know her from Love Island season 1 game. She was the host. Then we have Kristen. I think she's from Top Chef. Then we have Donna, who is um, the Kelsey's parent, like the Kelsey's mom, like Travis Kelsey and them. Then we have Tara Lipinski, which is a figure skater. Then Monet, she is sorry. Um, well, Monet, they are from RuPaul's Drag Race. We have Rob C, which is from Survivor fame. Then Yam Yam, sorry, Jam Jam. I apologize. I see the Y, and I was told that Y is pronounced as J, so it's Jam Jam. We see Jam Jam from Survivor fame, then Ian from Big Brother fame. Then we have Rob R. He's from Love Island, USA. Then we have Colton from The Bachelor. Yeah, I think Bachelor. Then there's Mark. He's from Dancing with the Stars. Then there's Steven. He's from One Tree Hill. He was also on Laguna Beach. Then we have Ron. He's a comedian. Eric is, I think he's also from Survivor. Um, is he from Survivor? No, he is. He's a musician. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's a musician. Then we have Johnny. He's also a figure skater, a famous figure skater. And then we have Michael Rappaport, which is an actor. And then, of course, you have the host, which is, why can't I think of his name? Not Ian. What is this man's name? Why can't I think of his name? I just know him from X-Men too. He was Nightcrawler. Sorry. But anyways, so they all come to the house or to the castle, and they're all, meeting each other, saying, just who they are, just, getting to know each other or whatever. So then the host comes, and I really need to figure out his name. I do apologize. Let me see. What is his name? Oh, I hate that I can't figure out what his name is. And I can't find it nowhere. Why can't I find his name? Why can't I find his name? What is his name? What is his name? You know what? Hold on. Alan Cumming. There we go. My bad, y'all. Okay, so Alan comes and he gathers them all around, and then he tells them that there's gonna be a secret traitor. So this is the first time they've ever done this. So one of the secret traitor is going to be picked in plain sight, and no one is gonna know who that person is, and neither is the audience. So the way that they find out is they're going to get a card in a box. He's going to open up a box, and in the box it'll either have the card, meaning you're the secret traitor, or it's going to be empty. So they all have to mind their manners. So they call everyone up to see what's in their box, and everyone gets their information. So then they go in the house, and they go in the castle again. They get to know, they're going around talking to each other, just in with everybody. So then they go to the round table, and he's gonna pick the traitors for the game. So he goes around the round table, he blindfolds everybody, and then he goes around the round table and he picks three people. The three people he pick are Candace, Lisa, and Rob R, because there's two Robs. Did I mention Rob? Yes, Rob C. He's from Survivor. So Rob R. So those are the three traitors. So after they get who the three traders are, again they go around and they just with everybody talking and trying to figure out who the secret trader was, or who the traders are, based off of everybody's reaction and everything like that. And Candace is talking, and she's like, I think it's Lisa. And it's just like, girl, hush, because that is your traitor in arm. So everyone goes to bed, and then the traders finally get to meet. So Candace, Rob R, and Lisa, they meet in the turret. So when they get to the turret, they find out who each other is, and Candace is just like, my bad, I actually put your name out there, so we're gonna have to walk that back. We're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna do it. So they're talking, and they hear the knock on the door, and Alan comes in, and they thinking that they're gonna meet the secret traitor. They find out that they don't get to meet who the secret traitor is, but how they're gonna play it this season is the secret traitor will sorry, the secret traitor will pick a short list for them, and they'll once they have that short list, they'll have to go through that short list, and then that's the person that they'll pick to get sent home. So it's the next day, and they go on their first mission. So their first mission is they have to split into, there's three boats, and they have to split up and go into the water and pick coffins that have the dollar signs on them, which is money in it. And for each coffin that they pick, it's worth $2,500. Once they get back to shore, they have to put it in a grave. Now, what they don't know is once they get there, they have to pick a person that they have to pick a name where they're gonna have to pick a person where they're gonna put the coffin in, and that person will be on the list for the person who will be sent home. So they go through, and they're trying to, the first boat comes, and they try to figure out who they're going to put the coffin, whose name they're going to put the coffin into. And they just toss it into Ron's because he was the first one there. And then the next person comes, and they put it in, the next boat comes, they put it in Rob R's. Then the next boat come, and two boats are like, okay, we're going to work together. We'll put it in the other people's, the people in the other boat will put the coffins in their name, so that we don't, we have a strategy. So the other boat comes, and they make the same deal with one of the other boats. So there's one boat, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was a green boat. The green boat was making a deal with both sides. So they were just trying to save themselves or whatever. So the people who who get coffins in their name at the end, it was Ron, Rob R, Eric, Michael, Donna, Dorinda, Rob C, Mark, and Ian. So those are the people that have the coffins in. So the last boat to come was to put that, they were trying to put a coffin in, was I think Candace's boat, and in Candace's boat Michael was in there, and they were trying to throw it in Portia's boat, Portia's coffin, but they didn't get it in enough time. So on the way home, Candace is telling Portia and Maura that Michael was saying, put it in Michael. put it in the housewives boat, because the day before Michael was saying how there are 5 gamers and there are 5 housewives, so mathematically there has to be a gamer and a housewife as a traitor. So Michael is putting the, like, he's putting all eyes on him. So folks are thinking that, maybe it's Michael, because he's like either a really good traitor or a really bad faithful. So they get back to the house and Portia is talking, and uh she goes and tells Michael basically what Portia said. So I mean what Candace said, and Michael is just like, for real, who said that? And she was just like, and she was just like, you know what, I'll just tell you. So they go into the kitchen, and like a bunch of people in there, Candace is in there, Maura's in there. And so Portia tells like Michael again, like, Candace said you said this. And Candace was just like, that's not what I said. I didn't say he said that today. That was something he said yesterday. Like, he was gunning for the housewives yesterday because he was saying that, again, mathematically, one of them could be a traitor. And it was just like, Candace, that's not what you did. But Portia also, why did you even say anything to him? Like, girl. So Portia asked, she asked Maura, she was just like, isn't that what she said? And Maura was just like, I don't remember her saying that. And then Maura gets in her confessional, and she was just like, I have bad memory and I really don't remember anything that was said. Like, I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast, basically. And I was just like, ooh, Candace, you got real lucky. But Portia, again, why are you talking, girl? So the night comes, um, and the traders go to the turret, and they get their first list of their short list, and who's on it is Rob R, which is a trader, Rob R, Ian, Mark, and Eric. And Rob is mad because he's just like, why would you put me on a list? And so they're trying to figure out who the secret traitor is. So that's how episode 1 ends. So we get into episode 2, and it's the next morning, because the traitors, we don't see in episode 1 who they pick until episode 2. So it's the next morning, everyone's coming down, and they find out. We start off with the traitors picking who they're going to send home, but again, we don't find out who it is. So the next morning, they go to breakfast. Everyone is waiting to see who the person is that gets sent home, and it's Ian, which was the Ian. He was the quiet one. He won Big Brother, so they sent him home because he's very smart and very strategic. So again, I would have sent him home too, because he would figure things out. So what's it called? Tiffany feels bad because she's just like, man, he wanted to just, come be himself and all this other stuff. So now Colton is looking at her like, why would you, whatever. So then Portia, like, they break from breakfast, and everyone is like going in their different corners, and they're talking about who they think the traitor might be. And Portia messes up, and she's just like, yeah, when I killed Ian. And it was just like, girl, are you listening to yourself? No, you're not. So she says this in front of Ron, and then she says something else in front of Ron and Donna, and then Rana and not Rana, but she says something else in front of and Donna, and they start to talk amongst themselves, thinking maybe Portia is the traitor, because why would you say you killed Ian? So they go on their next mission, which is they have to get their chariots, and they have to go through pull the chariot through the woods, and there are 3 stops in the woods. When they get to each stop, they have a chance to bank $8,000 at each stop, and also find a gold coin, which would give them the shield to be safe. So they start off, whoever starts off won't end up in the seat at the end. So they decide to start off with the like the smallest people. So it was Candace Moore, not Moore, it was Candace, Caroline, and Tiffany who started off because they were the smallest. So it was easier to pull them or whatever. So Colton in his confessional, he's just like, if I find a shield, I'm going to give it at the first two stops. I'm not looking for shields. I'm going to look for money. At the third stop, I'm looking for the coin so that I can get a shield because I have to be. And again, this is like, you got to be selfish. You have to, like, you got to want, you got to try to save yourself, basically. So, so they go through the woods, they get their money. This one is timed 45 minutes, but they don't get no one is telling them the time because the first one, it was also 45 minutes. And and Alan was telling them, you have 10 minutes left, you have 5 minutes left, 1 minute left. Like, he was doing that. For this one, they had to time themselves. So they go through the woods and, they get their stuff when they get the money, and then they switch out whenever anyone finds a gold. So I think the first person who found a shield, I think it was Rob, and he gave it to Mora. And Steven gave his to Dorinda. And then Monet gave his to, I forgot who he gave his to Lisa, I think. But they switch out for the first one. They go to the first one. When they get to the second one, they switch out again. And then they get to the third one, and Colton finds his, and he kicks Lisa out of her seat, so he's safe. And then the Rob finds the last one, and he gives it to Jam Jam, and Jam Jam kicks Mora out of hers. Now, mind you, Michael was thinking that they were going to discuss who would be able to get a shield, and he wanted to give his plea for why he thinks he should get a shield because he was vulnerable the night before. And so he thought they were going to discuss it, and it was just like, yeah, no, we weren't going to do that. So they get back to the castle with time to spare. I think they banked like $2,200 or something like that to put in their pot. And so the people who were safe it was Jam Jam. I gotta stop messing up his name. I'm sorry. It was Jam Jam, Colton, and Caroline. So Michael makes a fuss, and Alan is just like, this is something we can discuss at round table. And Jam Jam was just like, exactly, like, why are you bringing this up right now? So they go in, and let's see. Okay, so they go and they get themselves dressed, and then they go to the round table. So at the round table, Jam Jam and Michael, they go at it. They're going back and forth or whatever. And then, like, because at the round table they tell them, make your plea. Who do you think is the what's it called? What you call it? Sorry. Who do you think the traitor is? I'm sorry. So Jam Jam and Michael go at it. Then Ron and Donna bring up Portia and her misspeaks, and Candace takes up for her and was just like, not Candace, but Portia just misspeaks. Like, if you know Portia, there are 265 days in a year. Portia just misspeaks. That's just who Portia is. So they all, like, now they have to vote on who they're going to send home or whatever. So Candace had said that she thought Donna was a traitor because she's real quiet. She doesn't, she's not talking to anyone. She's not really getting to know people. So she gave her reasons for why she thinks, it's Donna. But everybody is listening to Ron and Donna's evidence against Portia. So they all vote, and all the housewives vote to vote off Donna, except for Lisa. She votes for Portia. And then I think there were a few other people who voted for Donna. I think Natalie voted for Donna. Um, Johnny voted for Donna too. I think I can't remember, but they was like it was like 8-8. Yeah, 8-8. No, was it? It was 7-7. I'm sorry. I think it was 7-7. 7 for Donna, 7 for Portia. And then the last two votes, they voted for Portia. So Portia got banished. And so once you get banished, you have to tell if you're a faithful or if you're a traitor. And it Portia comes up and she says, y'all banished a faithful. And so they're all like, oh my gosh, like, dang it, we weren't, they didn't want to banish a faithful, because basically how it works is at the end of the game, if there is whoever is left standing wins the money unless a traitor is amongst them. And if a traitor is amongst them, then the traitor is the one who wins all the money. So the point of the game is to try to get rid of the traitors. So they got rid of a faithful. They're all sad. Everyone is looking at Ron, because he's the one who led the charge against what's her name? Against Portia. So while they are after the votes, they all go out and they're just like, talking about what happened at the round table, and how they're just like, man, something, Ron is a traitor because he was pushing so hard for it. And then the traitors find out that they have to send someone home in plain sight. So they find out that of the list of people from earlier today, the secret traitor picked a short list of people that they need to pick. And what they have to do, because it's in plain sight, everybody's around, they have to find the cards, pick who they want to pick, set it on fire, and dump it in the breakfast room, in the fire pit in the breakfast room. And if they succeed, they'll be able to meet the secret traitor. So they're trying to figure out how they can do this without being like, they have to do it without people figuring out what's going on. So Candace was just like, let's do a conga line. And it's just like, what? But everybody goes and does it. Rob R., he figured out where the cards were. So everybody is doing this conga line. Rob was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this. He goes, he gets the card. So he figures out who the short list is, and it's Rob C., Tara, Monet, and Kristen. So he sees who it is. Then he goes and he says he wants to teach Lisa how to play chess. And as they're playing, he's giving her like, okay, so we either have to send home this person, this person, this person, or this person. And as they're doing that, Rob C. goes to Candace. I think they're doing a unaliving in plain sight. And Candace was just like, wait, what? Like, being shocked. And she was just like, not him figuring out what we doing. Now how we gonna get out of this? Because it's just like, if they don't pick him to send him home and they find out that it did happen, he's looking at Candace, because he was just like, aren't you the one who started the conga line? Why would you start the conga line? So now she got a mark on her back if her people don't pick him. But mind you, they don't know that this is happening. So they pick who they're going to pick, and they set it on fire, and they toss it, and they don't tell Candace. So Candace is just like, wait, so they did it, and I just need to know. So she has to go to bed without knowing who they picked. And that's how episode 3 ends. So this is a good show. This is really good. I really like it. I'll be back with episodes 3, 4, and 5. Depending on how long they are, I'll probably split them. But yeah, this is a really good show. So get down in the comments, tell me what you think. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. And I will see you guys in the next one.